The tambourine began to shake and then fly off the chair as I walked through the dark church sanctuary. Welcome to Paranormal Christian. Let's tell stories. Several years ago, we had something happen at our church, almost 20 years ago now. The gentleman who was our drummer at the time, he actually passed away during the church service, just as he had finished playing drums. And it was a very traumatic event, very tragic event. He was a wonderful gentleman, and we miss him very much. As the years went on, oftentimes we would talk about him in a very endearing and a loving way, as if he was still there. You know, you might hear something going on in the sanctuary in the daytime or whatever you're walking through, and you might hear something and say, "Oh man, maybe it's him." We didn't mean that in a real way. We believe that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. We know that when he left this life, that he went to be with Jesus. And so we said it in a lighthearted way, only because we loved and missed him and loved the thought of him still being with us. However, I'm sure you've got things in your life, strange situations where somebody has passed, and you think about those things. Maybe in your grandma's house, you say, "Oh, that's just grandma." And so people have things that are like that. Well, one day, several years had passed since his passing, and I was walking through our church sanctuary in the dark. There was a tambourine that generally my wife would use during praise and worship service. And that tambourine was sitting on a chair on the platform. I was in the back of the sanctuary, the back wall near the sound booth. The chair with the tambourine on the platform, obviously, is on the complete opposite in the very front. And as I walked through, I heard that tambourine, shik, shik. 2 times I heard it, and I thought, what in the world was that? And then it flew off of the chair and landed on the ground. I turned the lights on, I went up, I looked at the tambourine laying on the ground by the chair and wondered, how in the world did that thing fall off the chair or fly off of the chair? The thing that got me the most, I guess in my mind, I gave permission that the tambourine could have been set right on the edge of the chair. I don't think it really was, but I gave myself permission to think that, and that it just happened to finally tip at the moment I walked through. The strange thing was the shk, shk, that it shook twice before that took place. What do you think happened? How do you think that tambourine flew off of the chair? I have no idea. Am I suggesting that it was supernatural? Not really. I'm just curious what did happen. Do I think that our loving friend that we miss was hanging out in the sanctuary forever after he passed? I absolutely do not think that. But I do think that it's a strange, coincidental situation, and it made me think all kinds of things. I know lots of people have stories like this, experiences simply that they can't explain, and they're not necessarily suggesting that it is something spiritual or paranormal, but it's at least a great story, and I want to hear yours. Would you share this with somebody that you know that maybe has had a similar experience? Would you tag them in the comments? And would you go to paranormalchristian.com, go to the contact page, fill out the form, send me your story, let me know if I have permission to share it. But I want to hear your experiences, and keep them PC.